Colin and Sophie, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your time. And this feels like a loaded question always to ask how you're doing, but it is important to know like how you're doing, how are you navigating this grief journey that you're on still.
Yeah. As good as I can be. Yeah. I'm continually surprised that I get out of bed. But have been doing that and really prioritizing like the bare bones basics of sleeping enough and eating 3 meals a day. And I think we're almost there.
There you go. That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah. It's been a uphill journey for sure.
Yeah. Colin, what about you?
I'm doing, it feels a lot better. I feel like I was struggling with like a lot of panic attacks early on. And I started medication that Prozac. It's like I was really afraid of SSRIs and like losing yourself, but like I feel like it's really allowed me to like find myself again, which has been really nice. And same thing, like I think I go through waves of feeling like how am I getting out of bed today, or like what are we doing? But I feel a lot better overall. I think like on that topic though, I think that's like one of the reasons like I'm so open about like taking a medication is like sharing my experience with grief and trauma, and like us talking about it more has been really like healing for me, and I think like the rest of the world needs to be more open about their emotions too.
And Sophie, you haven't done as many of these, and I'm wondering what has made you feel more open to talking about that now?
You're gonna get me to cry right away.
Oh no.
No, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
I have just been missing them a lot lately. And it's nice to just, grief it's a lighter weight when you share it with people. It's just nice to be able to think about them, talk about them, have those memories. Yeah.
I think it really honors their memories the more we talk about them. And, we've talked a lot in our family, but, sharing what we've been talking about with our family has been helpful. And so getting it publicly known as well as, feels right.
I'm wondering, the unique circumstance of your parents being remembered and having public tributes for them while you're privately navigating your own very personal grief that the public isn't going to understand because Melissa and Mark Hortman were not their parents. I'm just wondering how you navigate that this public outpouring of support and mourning while you privately navigate something that's deeply personal that they're not going to understand.
So I think for me at least, it's kind of felt like because of the really unique position that we're in and how publicly like the state was grieving and our communities and our family was grieving, like to me I kind of like felt stuck in my grieving process where like until I shared with openly and publicly how I was doing that like I was going to be unable to move forward.
I think it's hard and weird because this is not how normal grief should be. And I think a lot of elements of normal grief we were not allowed to experience. So in some ways it's really nice, and it's beautiful to see that people care and that it's not just us going through, the pain and the sorrow, but it requires sitting in the discomfort, I think, for sure, because it's like, yes, they were these public figures. They were known by people in many ways, many different layers, but for us, that's mom and dad.
And how are you thinking about honoring mom and dad, like separate from, there's all this stuff at the Capitol, right, of public memorials and tributes, and I'm wondering how you are taking that kind of, how I'm going to honor my parents today.
Yeah, it's just the simple day-to-day things, like it's flowering crabapple season right now, and my parents let us watch The Simpsons when we probably should not have been allowed to watch The Simpsons, but my mom called them flowering crabapples. So like driving around and looking at all the trees is like, that feels connecting. Or like learning new hobbies and new skills, like genuinely, that makes me feel really connected to my dad, or just thinking through the memories, talking with Colin about the memories, stuff like that.
I'm lost for words in what you were saying. I think for me, like part of honoring them has just been like taking our experience and like doing something with it. And for me, that was, you know, a couple pieces of legislation, and like the legislators did all the work. I just told my story and they helped change something. But I felt really connected to like her workplace in that. Like I went to my dad's workplace and like hung out with his coworkers, and we had a really nice memo with them. And like it was like overwhelming at first, and we weren't really, we were given the opportunity, but we weren't ready for it with like other state representatives and some of her team. And I feel like this session I've gotten more of that, and that's felt really nice and honoring them.
You mentioned the bills. You were two of them have been signed into law: the insurance changes, the disclosure of the chemical irritants. And I'm wondering how that makes you feel to see that end product that you advocated for, your idea, out of your experience.
I mean, it means a lot, because I think like Sophie was saying that like we didn't get some of the normal grieving processes, like sitting in the house and having a potluck and having people come over and cry together, because it was a crime scene and then it was literally unsafe to be in. And so knowing that other families will get in months sooner definitely makes me feel really good, makes me feel really proud. And I think in a small way it helps preserve like the Hortman way, like what you know, we were taught to, you know, figure it out for yourself and whatnot, but like improve things for others. And I think that's what I did there. And really truly a big shout out to Nate Berg for like the scene clean guy that helped us navigate that. And I think I've said it before, but like I don't trust contractors or insurance agents, and he happened to be such an amazing contractor and like helped us reach out to the right people and get the right resources. And I don't think that legislation would have happened without him.
What are some other things about them as humans that maybe people don't know? Maybe they know about the hobbies, maybe they know about the baking, but what other things about them?
What I think about is the dynamic in our household, because our mom was working so much and so late and so out of our area, was that my father cooked like almost everything. Like he cooked dinner, breakfast, like lunch. He did the whole thing. And my mom would occasionally make boxed brownies, and we would mostly eat the brownie batter, but definitely brownies. But they just got their kitchen renovated in the spring of 2025. And that totally unlocked something for my mom, and she was able to get back in the kitchen and start baking, which is something she loves. And I think probably in 2025, she probably brought so many baked goods to her work, to us. It was like obscene.
So it sounds like there was a little hiatus of the baking, and then when she renovated the kitchen, she brought it back more recently.
Yes, it's true. And I think part of that had to do with the fact that Colin really wanted her to bake their wedding cake, and I think she was getting her practicing in. Just the domestic life that we had. It was awesome. It was really great.
Colin, anything to add about something about them that
can you
people don't
rephrase?
know? Yes, something about them people don't know beyond maybe what we've learned about them that you think really kind of tells the story of like who they were as people.
Well, I think for my mom, I know people know that she loves trees, but like, and they know that she was a gardener, but like how much work she actually did in it. And like, she was the one getting her hands dirty. Like there was no gardening service. Like she was the gardening service, right?
And us during the summers when we were teenagers.
And for Mother's Day, I'd go over there, get some plants, weed and stuff. But I don't know, just like the amount of like work that she put into like maintaining that house. And like I've started calling it like a palace of peace that they built together. And she made that outdoors her palace of peace, like the kitchen as well. But I just think of how tranquil the outside was, and how much work she put into that. I think for my dad, like, as the ground is thawing out, I'm starting to miss mountain biking quite a bit. And like, I know it's been talked about a little bit, but there was recently a trail renamed up north. It's called Hortman's Mail Route. And that was really cool. So
He loved mountain biking, it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah.
They both like loved the outdoors, it seems very clear.
Kind of.
Just
I
a
think
little
in
bit.
like particular ways. Like I would not describe our family as an outdoor family. But then this is not true because we would go camping in state parks. Like
on our way to go recycle a can to
way to
figure
recycle
out
things.
how the recycling system
But like,
worked.
vivid memories of like state parks with my dad. Like, you know those apps where it shows you where all the stars are and you point it up and it tells you what's there. So like watching the stars and him doing that. So like, I guess kind of outdoorsy. Like, to be fair.
You mentioned how your dad did so much cooking because your mom had the job she had, and of course that the state knew her as the Speaker of the House. I'm just wondering, like, you know, did she really bring any of that home with her? It seems like she had so many other things that she was interested in beyond the job that she was to be sure, very interested in.
Yeah. I don't think so. Not really.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I think like if she had some really heavy stuff that like she was really grappling with, she would like run it by us maybe, but like generally when she walked home, it was like that was her palace of peace for herself. That was her comfort zone. And it was to renew and like re-energize so that she could bring full energy back to the state. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I always think of like the birthday dinners at the towards the end of session. Her birthday's coming up and session's wrapping up, and she'd be like, all right, 2 minutes. And we had 2 minutes to ask her questions about what was happening. And then that was it. And then it was just like back to like, where's everyone going this weekend? Are we going to go to Harry and Linda's for a pool day? Like, when is she going to bake a blueberry pie for Harry? You know, like, but it was like all family focused questions after those 2 minutes. But she knew some of us were very curious what was happening. So she would let that go for a little bit.
I think it also speaks to how she saw the job, though, of like, this is not something that I'm going to come home and like brag about or try to get us to be like, I don't know, you know, she didn't have any ego around it. It was like, this is my job, this is what I do, but it's also a duty.
I mean, you guys must have been proud of that work, even if she wasn't going to be a showboat about it, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think the person who was arguably the most proud of her was her father. I think Harry just like really, especially when she became speaker, was just like so in love with the change she was creating, the compromise, like how she worked with both sides to get deals done. I think we were all in awe of it.
I do think it also shifted when we got older and started studying like interesting things, like when I was in college and learning about like the different waves of feminism and all the different like political theories, right? And talking to her in that more theoretical way, that was super fun and fascinating, and I think made both of us very proud of the work she was doing, because the older you get, the more nuanced of an understanding you get.
When you think about something that like you're holding really close, what is that memory for you?
Well, mine's an intangible memory because I wasn't actually there for it. I've just kind of pieced together like the last thing that I saw in their house, and I've talked about this before, but like the rhubarb custard pie and like the limes that were cut up, because clearly my mom had a margarita after the Mondale dinner, and my dad had cherries and rye, and like I just want to recreate that. But it's like something that I do have a real memory of, because we ate rhubarb custard pie all the time. And he would pour me that drink, or if I was not in a whiskey mood, I'd have a margarita with mom. And so like just sitting on the back deck and looking at the lake, and the sun sets behind, so like the lake would just kind of light up if the clouds were right. And I think just getting like life advice from them, like mom and dad advice, not like huge life-changing career, like what are we doing, but like simple things. yeah, I miss that a lot. And I think, just interrupt me whenever, but I think the thing is, I'm like holding on to all of those memories so tight. It's like, it's not just sitting on the back deck. It's not just watching TV in the living room with them. It's not just cooking dinner with Dad and waiting for Mom to come home. It was just all of it, and I was having a very hard time grasping onto any of it at first. And Sophie's written these really amazing little short stories, and I've been doing a bunch of my own writing and storytelling, and like that's helped me like hold on to those memories a lot better and like remember more.
I'm sure it's in waves, you know, like you're processing grief. That's gonna like, things are gonna come back to you over periods of time.
It is not linear, which is such a cliche, but it is really. Living the cliches are much different than hearing them. Yeah. The memory that I'm holding close is not even anything interesting or spectacular or really like memorable at all. It's just going over to their house and Gilbert and his gigantic head greeting me at the door. My mom getting me a glass of ice water, and my dad coming upstairs from the basement, surprised that I was there because he didn't hear me while he was working out, and just hanging out with them.
I'm really struck by the normalcy of what you just described, and I'm wondering how you are thinking about that, like, as you work through this process, if that makes any sense, like how you're holding on to like, okay, distinct memories, but also not losing those really kind of everyday things too.
Yeah. I mean, I think writing really has been a huge tool. I've been writing, the morning we found out everything happened, I grabbed a notebook and I started writing because I knew we were going to have to put out statements. I knew, I apparently said to someone, this is going to be bigger than any of us can imagine. But also, the writing helps to create that narrative in your mind of, like, so much understanding and control and normalcy has been taken away from us, and to articulate that and to be able to follow those threads that feel really shattered in my mind is so helpful.
Yeah. And that's a way to document your feelings in real time too, because I'm sure that's can be a blur in the thick of it also.
And they change moment to moment, you know.
I'm wondering how you, you know, are balancing they should be remembered for how they lived, but we shouldn't forget how they died either, because that's a lesson for the rest of the country as we face an environment with increasing political violence. How are you thinking about that?
I think what's standing out to me is that they were normal people. The reason she got into politics was because she liked doing the PTA and Girl Scouts and was connected to her community. And my dad just supported her. They're just normal people.
That's what I've been trying to pull out, and like when I spoke in Rochester a couple weeks ago now, that like trying to humanize them, because I think it's really easy for like the rest of the world to get, or all of us to get caught up in the feed, and like it's happening behind a screen, it's not to me, and for us it's like very viscerally not abstract ever again.
It really sucks when it's not abstract. It's really bad.
And yeah, so I've been trying to like pull out the mom and dad of them and what I'm talking about, because that's who they were, like in all aspects, even though there was this like public servant stuff. But like our mom and dad got taken away, and like how difficult that has been to deal with, and that my kids won't meet half of their grandparents. Like that is extremely difficult, and I think that it's really important for like us to all talk about like the real humanity of it, because I feel like that gets so lost in the comments and behind the screens.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you feel like people have forgotten about, like, when we're talking about even just hurling insults at people, that people just forget, like, you're a person. It's easy to just say what you want to say, do what you want to do, and you forget about that humanity. Do you feel like you see that today?
I think it makes me really sad that like it still feels like we haven't learned anything. Like after our parents were assassinated, after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and it's like, this is not a partisan issue, you know? And like, how are we still continuing to use language that escalates fear? It blows my mind, and so I'm going to try to help out in that space and talk to more people and talk to leaders, but I'm just wondering what will it take for us to learn?
Yeah, I hope we do. I really do.
Me too. And I do have hope that like together everyone can help tone it down, because you were talking about how like we're living in this world of escalating fear and escalating violence, and I think it's really like on an exponential curve, and I think we got to slow it down. Like we got to spend all of our resources and our capital trying to make it linear again. Like even increasing wouldn't be a good thing, but it would be better than being twice as bad, 4 times as bad the next year.
You guys are talking about how you want to, or how you are remembering your parents and honoring their memory. Of course, there's proposals at the Capitol about ways to publicly memorialize them. But have you ever thought about how you think they'd want to be remembered?
I think we both keep going back to something that my mom said when when she was taking a tour at the Capitol of like new developments, and she's like, it's a bit much, isn't it? And I think that she would think all of the memorials are. I think she would see the importance of like remembering them because of how they died. But yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult question. Like I don't know exactly what they want. We've been asking ourselves that for almost a year now.
Yeah. I felt like what we did on our dad's birthday was really nice. We played pool, and we ate blueberry cobbler, and we just spent time together. And our mom's birthday is coming up soon, and I think we're thinking about planting a tree, maybe weeding. Maybe.
She's like,
I don't really want to, but that's what she would prefer. And just spending time together. Yeah. And I think, but also like in our day-to-day life, you know, hearing them and remembering them, I think that's how they would want to be remembered, because they really loved us.
I really just think about how they were, I mean, no one's perfect, but like I thought they were angels of humans. And I think that like the statement that we released, like they would want to be remembered for building up a community and encouraging communities to come together and hold each other better. And so like I think that that's influenced a lot of like how we act and how we remember them. And I hope that that's how other people remember them too, is follow that list. Go plant a tree, pet a dog, or adopt a dog.
yeah, or as you guys
something.
said, you know, do something, whether big or small, to make somebody else's life a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Make your community better.
Is there anything else about them, their life, your relationship with them that we didn't touch on that you think people should know about Melissa and Mark as human beings, not Melissa and Mark as public figures?
I think my mom's ability to relax, despite having a very stressful job, her ability to like tune out the politics or put her phone down, not always perfectly putting her phone down, but she was able to really relax and like not meditate, but like it was like truly give herself into reading a book that had nothing to do with politics or nothing to do with the next negotiation. It was just for her own enjoyment, and I think like a lot of people, yeah, we could all learn a lesson from that and like be better at relaxing. And I think they were both really good at that.
Yeah.
Something that I've thought a lot about is like their traveling bucket list and like what wasn't met on that. And like there's nothing that really comes to mind because they both did travel a lot, and I think there was a lot of organizations that my mom was part of that helped pay for some travel, right? But they were just such travelers because they were so interested in how other cultures worked and how the food was, especially the food was in other places, and they just loved traveling so much.
Sophie, anything else you're thinking about that really speaks about your parents that we didn't touch on?
They both really loved being alive. Like, really. Dad especially. I mean, like, woke up every day so excited to do the big stuff, the little stuff. My mom was so proud of herself. She had worked so hard to get where she was. And they just loved it here.
That's really well said. I'm not going to add anything to it because they were just so excited for life every day. The big and the small stuff. I have nothing to add to that.